one foot in front of the other.
Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome back to Play the Hits, where we're putting one foot in front of the other, apparently. How you doing, Nick?
I loved that song in that Christmas movie.
Put
Which one was
one
that? A Year Without a Santa Claus?
Yeah, the claymation Santa Claus one.
Weren't those the best movies?
I love those, man.
Yeah, welcome to Christmas in July.
Yeah, right? Welcome to Christmas in
2
May,
months early.
Right? Just put one foot in front of the other, and soon you'll be walking across... What the hell is that? Santa?
You know, my favorite part about those movies was finding out that Burgermeister Meisterburger just meant master in German.
Meisterburger, that's right. Oh shit, God. We're kicking in with the nostalgia nice and hard already.
Little
Which is great because I'm going to need something to distract me from the fact that it's been well over a month since we played this game or Condemned.
We'll get to it.
I'm
sure.
Right now it's just relearning the controls and trying not to die. But, you know, we've done that like twice so far with this game and it hasn't been a problem yet. So I think we'll be alright.
Seems like one of those games where it's sufficient to mash buttons until you win. Kind of like every Smash Ultimate tournament I've ever had the displeasure of watching.
Nick plays a very different style than everyone else.
I have I have a cousin who is addicted in every sense of the word to Smash tournaments out in California.
Nice.
And she's really tried to get me into watching them, but like I can only watch 8 foxes fight each other with no items on Final Destination so much before I stop being polite and acknowledge I'm not having fun.
For me, it's always Captain Falcons. I don't know why, but I seem to exclusively play with Captain Falcon players.
Well, that's because you're not in high-level play, friend.
Yeah, seriously.
If you're not using Fox, you're not S tier.
I use Falco. How's that?
I don't think. I'm pretty sure it's like, what is it? It's like... I don't remember anymore. I forget who's considered top tier at this point because it changes every time Nintendo releases a new character.
Do they still technically have tiers, or do they actually go through on their threat to balance it out?
No, I think they just release another Marth.
Oh, yeah, okay. Well, you know, balance is always a tricky thing when it comes to freaking Smash Brothers because whenever I play the AI and they're doing like Yoshi, they're stomping my ass. But whenever I try to use Yoshi, he's less than useless.
I guess you just had to put the right tools in the right hands.
I guess.
Something about a carpenter and his tools.
Unfortunately, my hands are not the right ones to be wielding those tools. So, oh god, have you ever like actually tried to use Snake competitively?
I couldn't even use Snake against like the level 3 AI.
No, same here. Like I don't know what it is, whether I'm stupid or whatever it is. I cannot get the hang of Snake.
He's just a very tactical character, and
well, it's not a tactical game,
clunky.
Though. Yeah, right.
No, it's not. But that's the thing, is his character is very tactical, and it's just like I just want to use Donkey Kong and like ape fist everybody.
Right. It's like the assholes who try to use Mateus in Dissidia or the Emperor. I forget that he. I don't know where Mateus came from. I forget that he actually has a name, which I never use. I always just call him the Emperor, but I just wanted to impress you.
You know, the funny thing about Mateus is, I mean, basically the whole plot of that game was that your party hated the main villain so much that they killed him and then followed him to hell to kill him
again, I know.
Right?
Say what you will about FF2, it's certainly the weakest entry in the series, but
a story of revenge.
It was a story worth telling, if nothing else. Which is more than you can say for FF13, I guess.
So, have you finished the, speaking of Final Fantasies, have you finished 7 yet?
Yes, I have, and now we're going to have to tag a spoiler warning onto this episode, because I got some shit to say.
Did it turn out Luke was really Darth Vader's son?
Oh, would have made a hell of a lot more sense than whatever happened there at the ending. So, I don't feel like at this point I need to make the disclaimer that FF7 is not my favorite entry into the series, but I always enjoyed it. You've heard my thoughts on the original game before, and
Yeah.
so that's kind of the Cliff Notes version. I wasn't like super crazy about it, but I certainly didn't hate it. Hey, that's V. I've been trying to kill V this whole time. Why is he helping me? But anyway, so yeah, I've always been kind of lukewarm on the game, but like I was. The really wonderful thing about the 7 remake is that like it spends the entire first like 30 hours of the game really making you nostalgic for the original. Like they kind of do some clever twists on like some of the main plot beats, like what you thought was going to be very predictable isn't always super predictable, and it's not a bad thing. Like they do diversions to actually help flesh out Midgar and make the setting a more believable environment to live in, and kind of a unique and atmospheric romp down memory lane, which is pretty cool. But then like and here's where we'll do our official spoiler warning here. About an hour into the game, they start playing with the idea of these like weird hooded ghost-like creatures called the Whispers, who of course were not in the original. And they seem to be like playing a little bit with like some.
They're doing a meta narrative of some sort.
Exactly, yeah. It's like super meta.
I've read that essentially Final Fantasy VII, the remake, is almost could be considered a sequel to Final Fantasy VII. Yeah.
So where I landed on that style of storytelling was I was really in love with it until the exact moment that I wasn't. Because my God. So, like I said, they spend the whole first part of the game making you feel like, wow, this was lovingly crafted by people who really enjoyed working on the original Final Fantasy VII and wanted to show you like what a more in-depth and fleshed out look at the original story would look like. And then in the last like 2 hours of the game, they completely undermine that and just like get into some like Kingdom Hearts bullshit, and I mean that in the worst possible way. Like Kingdom Hearts for people who like jack off to goofy fucking Mickey and Sora Kingdom Hearts.
Wait, what?
No, I'm serious.
Wait, which Kingdom Hearts was that? It was probably one of the DS entries, right?
What I'm saying is it seems to be built for people who are just like, like fanboys of like the whole like Cloud and Sephiroth / fiction movement, and not a whole lot else. It's like not only is Sephiroth in there, but he's like the final boss of the game and where he completely doesn't belong.
I was a little mixed on what I had heard. On one hand, I think it's a cool idea to just be like to follow the Final Fantasy VII script 99% of the game, and then just like throw.
You would think
just
so.
Throw like just throw up a big thing at the last part, like aha, see, it's different.
Yeah,
but
no,
at the same time,
bad.
it sounds like they're trying to make Sephiroth like an anti-hero, which
I don't know what he is anymore. Like so,
because like at this point, he's not even in the game originally, right?
Right. Yeah. Until like. Yeah. Well, no, you're right. You don't even actually see him at all in the original at this.
Is there any explanation why he's like running around at this point?
Here's the best part. He's a fucking time traveler who has come back to convince you to kill the gods of fate so that they can...
Oh, that's right. They did go full JRPG, didn't they?
Yeah. And like I said, it's Kingdom Hearts. They're like these shadow gods who control like the workings of fate and make sure that the narrative plays out in the exact same way. So basically, it's the fan base, and like it's them saying like "fuck you" to the fans. And again, like you said, it wouldn't have been bad if like they did like some interesting twists on the original narrative, but this just completely throws it out the window to the point where it could be a completely different game altogether, which wouldn't be so bad if the game that they're making isn't clearly just fucking more Kingdom Hearts. And not only that, though, but like the time travel alternate dimension thing is just so played and so lazy, and it actually serves to undermine the original game, because now, like, the way that they talk about it, the events of the original game not only may or may not still happen, but if they happen like they did in the original game, it's basically the bad end. It's like the D ending, you know? Like, the story that people have claimed to love for years is no longer a thing because, like, they weren't happy with, you know, like, Eris and Zack dying. So they brought them back, and now they don't have to die anymore. It's bad. It's like fan fiction. It's like lazy and contrived and sloppy and showboaty. It's not good. I hate it.
It sounds like it was a.
I was not expecting to hate it.
It sounds like it was a cool idea implemented in the worst way possible.
Well, I don't know. Like I always had my doubts about the Whispers. And not only were those doubts like confirmed, but they made them the center of the whole goddamn story. Like to the point where you kind of feel like at the end of this game, like if like the last 2 hours just undid everything, why did I spend the first 38 hours going through all of it? Like it's garbage storytelling. It really is. And I hate to say that because, you know, like I said, I really spent the first 30 hours thinking, yeah, it's kind of rough in spots and it kind of drags its feet a little. But overall, I really like it. And then you get to the Shinra building and it's like, wow, this isn't... At first I was kind of like, it's not really as I remember it, but maybe that's not a bad thing. Maybe I'm just being kind of a, you know, old man, like clinging to his nostalgia. But that wasn't the case. It was bad. It was sloppy and miserable and so like a good story takes its time with the build up and gives you like a sense of gratification at like a big payoff at the end. This game has like none of that. Like it's all just like instant gratification, just like Sephiroth is here and look how pretty his hair is and he's so badass and Cloud can do fucking Omni Slash in the first act because who gives a fuck?
I mean, did we expect subtlety from a JRPG?
Considering this is the same company that could give us Final Fantasy IX, yeah, actually, I like forgive me for like actually expecting them to weave together a cohesive plot.
Well, Final Fantasy 15 came out a hell of a lot earlier.
Oh yeah, no, I know.
Later than 9.
But that's what pisses me off so much about this.
I think the guy who made 9 is making, you know, Bravely Default these days.
Well, but that's the thing that pisses me off. Like the game begins with echoes of like the PS1 days. It's like, hey, we can still tell a story like we did on the PS1. Do you remember everything that was so great about 7 and 8 and 9? Those things that you love so much? Yeah, we can still do this. And then, like, the ending is almost like, ha, joke's on you. No, we can't. We straight up can no longer tell a story that makes a damn bit of sense. And it isn't so far up its ass with all these meta-narratives and convoluted themes of like fate and whispers and, you know, the boss isn't really the boss anymore and like who gives a shit about anything because, you know, look how stylish it all looks. It's
okay,
really...
Look, if you're gonna give me a review for Death Stranding in the middle of our conversation about Final Fantasy VII,
dude, I haven't played Death Stranding yet, but I may be more at least
the commonality
Death Stranding,
is
you
they're
knew what you
both
were
on
getting.
my $10 Steam sale list.
Yeah, dude. FF7 Remake spends fucking 95% of the game making you love it, and then the last 5% dashing everything that you enjoyed about it on the rocks. It's just... It's an insult to the fan base and a slap in the face to anyone who thought that Squaresoft still had something to contribute to the gaming zeitgeist. It is drivel and it is nonsense. And if you don't even buy it, that's fine because, well, I don't know. Maybe you're exactly the audience that they're trying to reach with, like someone who doesn't have super fond memories of FF7. I don't know, but
I'm pretty easy to please. I just do something unexpected is usually, you know, nice, but it helps if you do it in the correct way.
Well, yeah, I was gonna say it's unexpected in the same way that someone like walking up to you on the street and kicking you in the balls is unexpected. So I guess they had that going for them. But no, dude, like I'm like actually pissed because clearly there were people in the development team that understood what made the original game fun to play. but those people were overridden hard by Tetsuya Nomura and like his Advent Children team. I don't know. Yeah, whatever. That's all I have to say.
So you will not be pre-ordering Final Fantasy VII, the remake 2?
Part 2,
Is that what they're going
or
to call
whatever
it?
they end up calling it? Yeah,
Probably
not. Honestly, like at this point, like I'm such a Final Fantasy fanboy. I've played the good.
I love how after that you're like, well, of course I'm going to friggin' buy it.
Well, no, that's the thing though. Like I'm
of
such
course
a
I'm going to write them a check.
yeah, I'm such a fanboy that I've played through like pretty much all of the good and all of the bad. To the point where like I feel like I can make an informed criticism of the series. But this game was so disappointing in the end that I actually think I'll do what you said you were going to do and probably catch it as like a $10 like Steam sale down the road just to see how bad it ended up.
Mm.
And like I can't even guarantee that I would finish it. Like the first part of the second chapter is really gonna have to either course correct in a major way or do something that really piques my interest, because like my interest level right now in it is flatlined. It's totally like I could give two shits if they even call it Final Fantasy VII again, because I'm just so
Is this the only Final
disillusioned.
Fantasy they've gotten the tiller right now, or are they
I think
working on
so, yeah.
something else? Yeah.
I mean, FF16 may be in development, but they haven't announced anything about it. How do
Watch
I
turns
fucking
out to
fight
be
you?
a MMO or a
Okay.
third MMO. That'd be great.
Yeah, right.
Well, I mean, actually, maybe
Considering
it would be,
their
considering how
MMOs
14
right
is
now
doing.
are like all they've got. Why can't I fight this thing? Oh, okay, I see. It's all triangle. Okay, so no, not happening. There we go.
Well, for inquiring minds, Bug Fables, a good RPG, comes out on consoles on the 28th of this month.
Oh, is that right?
Yeah. If I didn't already, you know what? Honestly, I still might buy it for Switch. I mean, I already played it to death on the PC, but
Yeah.
being able to play it on the go sounds pretty fun.
Like I said, I tend to buy my indie titles almost exclusively through the Switch when I can, just because it's such a joy to have
It's
them
mobile,
portable.
yeah.
Oh, that
Let's
reminds
see.
me. Go ahead. You finish your thought first.
Nope, I was gonna say I don't buy them on the Switch on purpose because then I'm tempted to take it to work.
Yep. I've done that a few days, like where I knew I just had jack all to do. Like I've just brought my Switch in and closed my office door like I'm on important calls and played the Switch.
And yeah, get paid to play Master Blaster.
Yep.
I hear ya.
Because honestly, like there's some days where like I'm packed to the brim with like important and dare I say even like life affirming work. There are other days where it's just like, yeah, okay, an old lady doesn't like how loud the organ is, and I don't want to respond to this email right now. So
Well, hey,
That's life.
To quote Lori Whirl, my old boss, sometimes you work hard, and then when there's not a lot of work, you just take yourself a little break.
that's right.
All those 50-hour weeks, sometimes you get a 30-hour week to balance it out.
Mm-hmm. So, what I was going to tell you, and speaking of indie titles, following the disaster, the complete and utter travesty that was FF7 Remake, I needed to palate cleanse. So I took a page out of your book and did something that I've been meaning to do for a really long time that you said was one of the finest gaming experiences you've ever played, and I started Hollow Knight.
Oh,
And I
what
love
is
it.
your impression?
I am in love.
It is a darling for a reason.
It is beautiful and atmospheric and deliberate and intriguing and everything that 7 tried to be but was not.
I'm always an advocate of the smallest dev team possible, and I think it was just two guys who made this
Really?
Hollow Knight.
You've got to
Yeah.
be kidding.
No, I mean, look it up. Team Cherry is just 2 guys,
Wow.
and I mean that's awesome because you can see the creative vision very coherently throughout the entire game.
Oh, yeah.
Absolute delight.
Oh my gosh, the whole thing just reeks of creativity.
You'll have to let me know how far you get before you end up using a guide, if at all.
I looked up some maps on Google.
Yeah, I was. See,
Well,
I absolutely.
Here's the
go
thing.
ahead. Go ahead.
Well, I looked up the maps just to find out where to buy the maps. That's all I did.
Yeah, that part was a little irritating. I kind of, like, okay, I get it.
I couldn't really be irritated with it because it was just so damn beautiful and fun to explore. But like after an hour of like, he was like, "Hey, come find me and buy the maps," and like I couldn't find them. I'm like, okay, I might be too stupid for this game. I just wanted to like basically make sure I wasn't doing something wrong.
Right.
But yeah, like no like guide. Like I'm still very much like once I have the map and figure out where I am, I'm basically just exploring.
Well, and
I'm in the Citadel right now.
You can go wherever you want in whatever order you want. There's really no wrong answers.
Okay, cool.
But I myself, I think about 10 hours in, was like, well, I want to fight the bosses. I want to go through the boss gauntlet.
It has been a little while since my last boss.
Yeah, I was kind of chasing my tail for a while. I was like, okay, I just kind of need a poke in the right direction because I've been trying to get this one item from 3 different directions, and I don't know what I'm doing wrong.
But boy, are the boss fights a fucking riot in that game.
My problem with Hollow Knight was that I didn't know what kind of like upgrade items there would be. Mm-hmm. So like you play a item-based exploration game.
Yeah.
Normally, or a Metroidvania, as some say, and like you're like, okay, I can't reach this. Clearly, I need the high jump boots or the ice beam or something. Like with Hollow Knight, my thing was like, well, am I not good enough, or do I need an item for this to get past this thing?
Yeah,
that was my problem. Does that make sense?
It does, actually. I can see a little bit of that already. And wow, I straight up hate playing as V. Like this is an awesome game. I just don't like V. Wait, that was one?
V going through some sort of like
meta crisis,
cloud inner nightmare where he's like got to confront his 3 greatest fears or something.
What I understand from the last time that we played was that V, of course, is Virgil, but he's like the good side of Virgil, and he's like trying to become Virgil again. And I think that Demon King that we've been fighting is the bad side of Virgil. I don't know.
Okay,
for sure.
I gotcha.
I don't quote me on that, but that's what I think is happening, and I think right now we're just trying to reawaken him.
Okay, so you're getting all 3 of your teammates back. I gotcha.
Yeah. What are you? What are you?
Or do you have to fight your old teammates, or never mind. I misunderstood. Well, good. I'm glad you're playing Hollow Knight. What a delightful little game.
Oh yeah, like it's basically an apology to myself for ever trusting Square Enix and the Final Fantasy brand again. And I say that, but like you said, I'm like a battered spouse when it comes to Final Fantasy, and I'll probably still end up picking up the second one, but I'll be damned if I'm going to pay $60 for it.
Well, I saw some interesting comments from the dev team afterwards. It said,
was it a fucking apology?
No, it said something along the lines that
wow, this is much better than for last fight.
Part 2 will follow the original story much more closely, or some such. So it sounds like they're getting bad, like bad focus testing on how the way the first game went, and they're like, okay, well, never mind, we'll just make it exactly like the first one.
Well, then that'll make you just kind of wonder, like, what the fuck was up with the Midgard chapter? I don't know. Like, I don't see how they can follow the original story anymore. Like the big, do you mind like the really big spoiler?
I, believe it or not, ended up reading pretty extensively about this game, so there's no spoilers for me.
Oh, okay.
I was intrigued by it.
Yeah, so Zack, who is the catalyst,
is still alive, right?
Apparently. Yeah. Like, he straight up survived. Like, the whole ending plot twist was that he survived the attack that killed him, and which really means that the main character of the game can't be Cloud anymore, because like without Zack's death, like there's nothing interesting about him as a character.
Well, it's this goes to our conversation last time about when a JRPG just kind of reeks of post 2010 anime where
Yep.
nobody dies and there are no villains
Yep.
and everybody is cosplayable.
You remember your comment about Dragon Quest XI, where like you would have been just fine if the game ended like when you defeated the first final boss and didn't have to.
Yeah,
do the
with
epilogue?
at the end of chapter 2. Yeah.
Yeah. See, I didn't mind that so much because at the very least it was all in the same game. Like, yeah,
Mhm.
you could have stopped the game there and it would have been a perfectly acceptable ending because it was beautiful and there was a sacrifice and it worked. But, if you had grown really attached to the characters, here's another, like, wish fulfillment 10 hours of gameplay where everything kind of gets a happy ending, which was fine. But with Final Fantasy VII, like, what made the game have like an impactful ending was the fact that characters sacrificed themselves so that the world could continue. I mean, that was kind of
Yeah.
like the whole, like, FF7 was a very theme heavy game, but like the theme that was there was one of sacrifice. That was the whole deal. Like Eris dying, that's still like super memorable because she literally gave her life to save the world, and that was like a noble cause. But
But
now
she just
that's-
got ganked by Sephiroth.
yeah, but I mean,
Or
she,
was it
she
a
died.
part of her plan to die? Or...
Yeah, because
Oh, okay.
that's what allowed her to cast. Holy couldn't be cast by like a living person or something like that. I forget what the plot contrivance there was. Like there was a reason that it was useless materia because to cast it you have to die basically, and so she died.
I must have missed that. Okay. All of a sudden,
She had so the planet cast Holy. You have to
18
be one with the planet. I don't know. It's some hippie
18
crap.
years later, the plot makes a bit more sense. Thank you.
Yeah, it still doesn't. But that again, like I said, really the bar
Well,
was super low for them. They just had to make sense of what was already there and kind of marred by the original translation. And instead, what did they
Well,
do? They made it more confusing and stupid.
Well, I mean,
Whoops. Oh, just kidding.
FF7 remakes. The difference between that and Dragon Quest XI is it didn't feel earned.
Yeah.
And again, I liked Dragon Quest XI. I admired it for the excellent handcrafted piece of media that it was. Again, I don't like how the third chapter essentially overwrote all the character arcs and development in the second chapter, but it felt earned.
Yeah.
Because if this, I mean, this would have been a fun game to have come out before the age of the internet to ruin everything,
Mm-hmm.
because you really. Like you said, the game doesn't point you into the third chapter. So, I mean, like, probably 80% of people who would have played through that never would have, even have known, right?
Yeah, actually, they probably would have just thought it's like, oh, this is how the game lets you do like side quests and whatnot. But no, it was a
So-
whole like alternate ending, which is kind of cool.
Yeah, and it made sense, and the game didn't necessarily push you in that direction.
No,
So
it didn't cram it down
I
your
could accept
throat.
it for that.
Yeah, like really, the
Mhm.
game had two endings. One which was like kind of a traditional like end close of the story, but then one that was one part. Everyone gets a happy ending, but then the other part of that was just like those end credits and like the kind of meta narrative of it, like being just a love letter to the whole Dragon Quest franchise. Like technically, Dragon Quest XI is the first one.
Mhm.
Because like that's how the sword came about, and that's how the hero Erdrick was reincarnated, and it was really like if you love Dragon Quest, which I very much do love Dragon Quest, that was a cool ending. It was just kind of a throwing the fan base a bone, but it did it in a good way.
Who is the thief character in that game again?
Eric,
Eric. That's my favorite part in the entire series was the 5-hour subquest to in the second chapter to redeem his sister, and then everybody learns a valuable lesson.
oh, and then hers
And
is
then-
stripped
and
away.
then in
Yeah,
yeah, and then in the third act, it's like, hey, hero of light, can you just heal her?
yeah, right.
All
and
right.
then he does. No responsibilities.
No consequences whatsoever.
that was one of my favorite Robot Chicken
Hmm.
bits. Did you ever see that one with Uncle Ben and Spider-Man?
I don't think so.
So Peter Parker just left his wrestling match, and he's kind of like all sulking and angry and everything. But then he hears the gunshot, and he's like, "Oh my God, Uncle Ben! and he goes out there, and it turns out Uncle Ben shot a guy, and he like hijacked his car, and he goes, "Let's go, Peter! No responsibilities! Woo!" And he fires his gun in the air. That's kind of what that felt like. Yeah, you're right. It wasn't perfect, but I very much enjoyed Dragon Quest XI for what it was. And yeah, like, you know, the funny thing is, before talking to you this evening, like, I was so I was so disappointed by the game that I felt like I had to like.
When did
get
you
it
actually finish it?
About a week ago.
Okay,
I felt like I
gotcha.
had to get it off my chest, like just in general. So I did the unthinkable and I turned to Reddit, and I got like fucking crucified because apparently Reddit is like the home base of people who really like hard ship Cloud and Zack and Sephiroth into some like gay three-way orgy kind of thing, and like that was like saying that it was a shame that Zack was brought back to life was like the worst thing you can say to these people apparently. So fair warning.
See, I have a rule about Reddit: look but never post.
Yeah, well, and that's what I was doing. Like, I was kind of reading articles about what people thought of it, and I just kind of like gave my 2 cents, and like I talked about how lazy I thought it was, and you know, like how it undermines like the entire way that the original narrative functioned. And man, I got torn a new one. Not that I'm one of the kind of people who would like be deeply offended by people disagreeing with me or tearing me apart on an internet forum, but man, like I was not expecting the level of like people love that game no matter what it
animosity.
does. Yeah, like yeah, that's right. Personal animosity. That's right. It wasn't
But
like
here,
it wasn't like, hey, I disagree with you, and here's the reasons why I hate it with you. It's like you're a beta cuck and you're stupid. I'm like, okay, cool. I learned my lesson about trying to have a constructive conversation on Reddit.
I would wonder how many people who are adamant defenders of the remake actually are old enough to have like,
played the original. Yeah.
Yeah.
I think you're right. I think for a lot of them, their first experience with Final Fantasy VII might have been Advent Children, and I think that's kind of where like the things that they love about the remake are being informed.
Actually, I have a story about this. If you have a few moments here,
yeah, go for it. I didn't see those two people, but I will rate them highly.
I learned I had a interesting conversation over Steam, and I usually don't take bait over Steam, but
Steam.
So
say?
I learned an interesting lesson that pretty much everyone who's commenting on the internet is younger than me, possibly very much younger than me, and that I need to stop assuming everybody is a rational 30-year-old.
Possibly have never known the touch of a woman.
On cue,
right? That was awesome. Hey, they put like a jacket on her for some reason.
She's almost wearing clothes.
Yeah, I know. If it weren't for those butt shorts, I could almost take her seriously as a mechanic. Anyway, you were saying.
I want to see where this goes. Let's see what he's going to do with his hand. Oh, okay, more shop stuff. So anyways, I was in the Terraria forums, and someone was making a comment about...
That's practically the deep web, Nick. Come on.
Anyways, someone was making a comment about... you know, and the Terraria community on Steam is huge. I mean, there's like 20,000 people in game at any given time. Anyway, someone was making a comment.
Hate Barack Obama. I'm not sure why. Sorry.
About like, is it just me, or like, what's up with all the shit posting? Or how many kids are on here? And it led to this conversation about like, it turned out it was a surprising number, and it turned into this conversation about like, yeah, well, people over the age of 30 don't play games, you know.
Bullshit.
So I decided, okay, all right, I'm gonna wade into the waters here ever so cautiously, and so through some through some respectful comments out there about, you know, you do realize that the people who started playing the NES, you know, around, you know, when Mario Brothers came out when they were 7 are now 30, you know, so no, it's not uncommon at all to see a 30/40-year-old or some such to, you know, be playing a game as a hobby. As a matter of fact, I think, what is it, like over 50% of people who identify as a gamer are over the age of 40 or so.
Yeah, I believe that.
Which seems high, but it's a surprisingly high number. I remember that.
You've just given me a thought that I have to share with you because it's really cool. But finish your story first because I'm into it.
So anyways, so you know, and apparently it led to this fairly interesting conversation between a fairly large age gap. Some people my age talking to some of the ones who are younger about, oh yeah, this isn't uncommon at all. And I shared some of the gems of like, no man, I mean it's not even, if you think 40-year-olds playing Hollow Knight is weird. I went to a retirement home for some volunteer hours, and there was a 75-year-old man just sitting there playing Assassin's Creed.
Right.
And then I watch Altair fall off a building, and I just hear him say, "Ah, shit," as
Fuck
only
it.
a 75-year-old man can.
Right. With literally that I'm too old for this shit kind of look in his eye.
But yet here he is, and
Yeah, here he is.
my brother and I went to a video games live concert, and there's this older man who was about I think 60 in a fedora, and I was like, oh, that's cute. His granddaughters drug him to this. And
Oh, he was enjoying it, huh?
as we're going out of the theater, he was making a comment. It's like, yeah, I mean, I really liked Assassin's Creed, but Revelations is just a freaking waste of time.
Right.
This man was old enough to have strong opinions on Assassin's Creed
That's awesome.
Revelations.
Well, okay, so go on.
So my favorite anecdote that I had an opportunity to share was I was at my cousin's wedding reception, and we were talking about how well we used to be in the same guild in Final Fantasy XIV. And I don't remember who it was, but this old lady in a walker had walked up behind us and was like, she asked, "What are you all talking about?" It's like, oh god, we're talking about Nintendo's, but don't tell her. It's like, oh, we're just talking about a game we play. Oh, you're talking about an MMO, huh?
Oh my
and
god.
she proceeds to tell us about her thief mage in Neverwinter Nights.
No.
She
Fucking
was
for
like,
real.
oh yeah,
God,
I'm really a fan of when
Neverwinter
they did the
Nights?
class changes recently.
Oh my god,
Like
dude.
my clan and I. Last week we made Prince Aganor our bitch on the raid server.
That's amazing, dude. I have not
She knew what she was talking about. It was wonderful.
dude, during the days when I
But
was
yes, so in conclusion, it was one of those rare occasions on the internet where
things turned out okay.
where olds and youngs got together, and it was a delightful exchange of actual conversation and ideas.
Yeah.
So, anyways,
So my story is quite similar to that actually. So, we here at Play the Hits don't exactly try very hard to make this into a full-time career because we're old and we fear change. I don't know what it is. But shout outs to the guys at shit, I'm probably butchering your name right now, but I think it's Snail Gaming on YouTube. They watched a couple of our videos, commented, and then proceeded to send me this like lovely like message talking about like we could learn a lot from you guys and like how do you keep dialogue going like and still be having fun for an hour?
like what videos were they? Like you and Max videos, or like you and me with my incoherent?
Well, they made the
train of
comment
verbal
on an
diarrhea?
Ocarina of Time video, but they clearly watched a couple of yours too, because they referenced some of the things that we've talked about. But like their thought was like we can't keep the dialogue going for an hour. And mind you, they have more subscribers and more viewers, not much more than we do because they're new, but. But like that was just kind of validating, and then I kind of told them it's like, well, basically all we're doing is, we used to game like this all the time, in grade school with me and Max
just
in college.
Saturday night couch gaming, just gaming and gabbing.
And so really, we're doing what we've been doing for the last 20 years. And it's like, wow. So wait a minute, you guys are like in your 30s? I'm like, yeah, pretty much. We're just a bunch of old men just reliving our kind of glory days playing the games that we like to play. And it's like, wow, so you were like playing these games when they got released. and that was kind of a cool thing.
Well, that's unintentionally insulting, but yes, technically that's correct.
It's like, so you guys basically, like, their comment was like that we have like an insight as a result of that. Like, we remember the cultural context that they came out in.
Oh
Which
man, I mean, I tell you, my
kinda neat.
gimmick later in life is gonna be I'm gonna be an 80-year-old with a Let's Play channel. That is gonna be my gimmick. I just
Yeah,
gotta
dude.
wait until I'm 80. But anyways,
I don't think we're ever gonna stop Play the Hits until I die of a heart attack at age 40. But you know, even then,
little
you
did
have
Chris know he was stabbed to death by murder hornets in the church parking lot the
2
week
days
after.
later. Yeah, right. But no, you have the login. You can continue it with JoJo if you want. I don't give a shit.
We'll just call it JoJo's Bizarre Misadventure. Anyways,
God damn it, we actually had a working title. And I squandered
What?
it on Play the Hits.
I can help. What's going on? Go back to sleep, Rex.
Hi, this is Rex. With me is JoJo. I keep telling you I don't want to do this. Shut up. We're gonna be famous. We're gonna get
I'm gonna
that
be as
sick
famous
YouTube
as,
money.
as that damn dog. What is it? Cooking with Dog. The dog doesn't even say anything. It's bullshit. It's just a Japanese voiceover the entire time. I'm pretty sure the dog is dead too. God rest his bones.
Also, your comment is lacking. I asked for Game Grumps, and instead you gave me Jacksepticeye. What the hell?
Oh gosh.
Much love to Jacksepticeye. I mean, I don't
Boy,
I don't personally know any of your videos, but I'm told you're quite good.
I remember. I think I've clicked on a total of 3 of his videos, and
What does he do?
I mean,
Like, it's not that I
all
dislike
I
him
know
anyway.
is like every
Just-
time I click, it's like, "Hey, guys and girls," and like I
Oh,
immediately
yeah.
click off. It's
like a level of energy and enthusiasm that you
the
just can't
level
match.
of energy of the red hair just never does it for me. I'm
Uh-huh.
sorry. It's like, all right, I'm out of here.
You remember when we were first getting this channel going and I like tried to incorporate like a catchphrase and all that other shit because I was somehow and that's actually what I ended up telling.
Hey, Star Wars got turned down by 36 studios before George Lucas finally
Right.
sold his script.
Well, and that's kind of what I ended up telling them. They were like, "Man, you guys," and again, this sounds like just jerking myself off here a little bit, but their comment was like, that, you know, at our best, we actually can be kind of funny and have some interesting things to say. Why aren't we more successful? And I was like, 1, probably the YouTube algorithm. 2, I just straight up don't advertise us because I'm a little bit afraid that like someone from my other life will, you know, stumble
It
upon
gets
us.
complicated post college, yes.
And then you kind of like have to make a decision of like, do I actually want to try to enter into a like ridiculously saturated market like Twitch or YouTube, and attempt to eke out a living that way, or do I just want to keep the security of like my actual career, which I also very much love and enjoy, and yeah, that's where we land.
Well, I mean, I think what it comes down to in the end is have fun with it.
Yeah, right.
And I mean, I don't know, like if you're doing it, like I don't know, like what was it like? Did they want to get YouTube famous? Is that what it was?
No,
Or-
they were just 2 nice guys who just like enjoyed our videos and were like,
Uh-huh.
you know,
Oh, okay.
so
And
like
they kind of want to do what we were. Okay, I see. I mean, basically, it's like have fun with it, and then also realize it's going to take you a little bit,
Yeah.
a few months to kind of figure out where you're comfortable. Because I mean, you look at like any kind of YouTube channel, you look at their first videos compared to when they
yeah,
actually
dude.
kind of got famous. Completely different. So you just
Yeah.
got to kind of you got to find where you're comfortable, and you don't know where that is until you start.
Mhm.
So
and like even with you and me, like we're certainly not in any way, shape, or form famous, but like we've been doing this for what 3 years now, so like I actually am more comfortable being recorded than I was when we started this. So yeah, like I said, we get some, and like they were saying, we actually get some funny dialogue sometimes, and it's at the very least we're having fun, and whether that's with 1 or 2 viewers or 50 to 100 viewers, that I don't think that would change that fact. So that's pretty much where I am with that right now too, is that the fun thing is, because we're in our 30s and because we remember these games in their original context, it's just kind of fun to go back and revisit them and like kind of stack them up with like the experiences we've had with other games since they came out.
Boy, I kind of wish we had opened the episode with this, but yeah.
Well, but it kind of brings me back to FF7 because that's why I hate it as much as I do. Like, I remember the days when Square Enix, more accurately Square Soft, though I don't think Enix is the problem in this equation, when Square Soft could compose like a game that starts and finishes and makes sense in between.
Well, see, here's the thing: is that a good game and a game that's going to sell well are two different things, though.
Yeah. Well, yeah,
So-
and clearly 7 Remake sold well, and so
That game was going to
Enix-
sell well no matter what.
Yeah,
I mean, one,
absolutely.
it had nostalgia. Two, it looked really, really good.
Oh, it's a beautiful game, and actually the combat system is super fun. Like, that's one thing that I'll say in its favor, is that I loved playing it. Right up until I didn't.
Well, hey, if you wanted a moving, down to earth, role playing game about everyday choices and relatable situations, I guess you just have to play Bug Fables.
Right? Keep
Reminds
bringing
me
up
that time I used to
You know,
be a
after I
Bumblebee.
finish Hollow Knight, I may have to just download Bug Fables.
I'm sorry, I gotta stop. I gotta stop cheerleading that game. But anyways, yeah. Well, hey, you know what? I'll be going back to Nick and Chris's guide on how to be YouTube famous.
Right.
I will consider us having made it when we start getting contacts from like Monster Energy and
Right.
and like
It's like, hey, you
and,
guys
like,
want $5? Drink
like
Monster
like
Energy.
esport like esport things like, hey, we would like to do a cross promotion with Play the Hits. We want you to put a picture of our esport gamer Chad Tronic 751
Oh my
in
God.
the lower right hand corner of your video as sponsored content, and we'll
Dude.
give you like
Go on.
70 cents.
I was gonna say, do you know what I would love is if, like, one day a game company contacted us and was like, "Hey, if you guys do like a 5-minute segment of you guys playing this like mobile game, you know, we'll sponsor you or something like. We'll give you just to see like you and me try to fumble our way through like a mobile tower defense game or something for even 5 minutes." And it's like, yeah, I don't know what any of this shit does, and I almost navigated the menu, but then I decided to drink a beer, and I forgot what it was that I was trying to do. And so I give this game a 2 out of 10. Go buy it. Oh, God.
Are we still going through V's Pit of 100 Trials? No, we're not.
No,
we're
thank
not. Never
God
mind.
we're back to Nero. He's not quite Dante, but I'll take him. My finger's starting to cramp up because you constantly have to be revving his damn sword motorcycle. Which is
You know,
interesting
the
because
funny
Dante has
thing
an
is,
actual
that's a
sword
thing.
motorcycle. Doing a hell of a lot better with him than I was with V, though. Bet that hurt.
Speaking of being shills for mobile games, so I downloaded my first mobile game this week.
What was it?
It is called Klepto Cats.
Klepto Cats.
My little brother spent the night last weekend, and he insisted that I needed to download this game on my phone. So while I was taking a shower, he proceeded to download it onto my phone.
For you.
The,
You also have a Snoop Dogg ringtone? Who the hell is Snoop Dogg? Get your ass up and answer the phone.
I'm not that old. I mean, I remember Snoop Dogg at least back when he
Snoop
wasn't.
lying, Nick.
Yes. Anyways,
Yes.
yes.
You said that with all the condescension of like a grade school teacher, like after hearing some really shitty slam poetry, like from her emo kid in class. Yes.
Did I ever tell you when I went to the Defiance Regional Poetry Contest here in town?
I think. Was this the one? No, actually, tell the story because no, I don't think you did.
Okay, so a little bit of a diversion here. Yeah, so my brother Dre won this contest for writing a very moving, emotional poem about his dog Thor
Oh,
when he passed away. The light illumine his soul. Anyways,
may he walk with Allah. What?
so anyways, yeah, we had to sit through everyone else's crappy poems, and one of the girls had written this very dark poem about how love is an illusion and all life
Yes,
is
okay.
bleakness, and we're all sitting there like, oh, this is edgy as shit. So like it's over with, and like everyone is just kind of like standing up there who's hosting, and they're like, okay, well, who's got a response to that? So eventually someone stepped forward, and it was like, all right, well, thank you, Elizabeth. That was the poem Dark as Night. Please accept this coupon
Oh,
for a
shit.
free complimentary pizza from Pizza
Yes.
Hut.
Yes, and I remember this because it was during our Resident Evil 2 playthrough, and it gave us one of my favorite episode titles ever, which was Corporate Pizza Machine.
Oh, that's right.
You're all part of the Corporate Pizza Machine.
But anyways,
it's less funny the second
back
time.
to
Yeah, sorry.
getting back to Kleptocats. So the
Kleptocats.
premise is simple enough. You get cats, and you pay these cats to go out and steal things and bring them back to your virtual house to fill it with virtual items.
Nice.
And if you'd like your cats to come back sooner, you just slip the Chinese developers $1 here and $1 there so they come back quicker.
Microtransactions. Sweet.
Microtransactions up the yin yang, but you know, it's something to do at work. It doesn't cost anything. And my brother was like, "You're playing Kleptocats? Did you get Melon the cat? He's a cat that looks like a watermelon." Yeah, I got Melon the cat.
Who's the first
And
one
he's
I
just like
unlocked.
having such a good time, like being like, "Hey, what did your cats bring back today, Nick?" You know, it's like, okay, all right, I can do this.
Yeah, I love my brother more than I have pride, so.
Well, I will never have children, so my adopted siblings are pretty much my stand-in kids.
Well, there you go. Let's see, what do we still have to unlock here? Hardway, eh? While on the ground, hold and release X. Can do. Shit, what was... Oh, so, I don't know why Kleptocats, of all things, reminded me of this, but, if you haven't already given thought to the Xbox, whatever service on, PC, the $5 a month thing that I'm subscribed to, I think I told you about it a little while ago, they just put, Gato
Game
Roboto
Pass.
on there.
Oh, you know, I keep meaning to buy that on Steam,
Yeah.
but instead I think it was on sale this weekend, but instead I picked up the Castlevania pack.
Oh, hey,
The-
cool. I got that too just now on the PS4 with Rondo and Symphony.
No, this one is like all the old games.
Ah,
There's
okay,
like
yeah,
9
there's
games
two.
in it. Yeah.
Yep. Okay, cool.
Oh yeah. I know which one you're talking about. That one's cool, but it never made it to PC
Oh, really?
for whatever reason.
Symphony of the
Boy,
Night is not available on PC?
No, not
Huh.
that I'm aware of.
I
I would
guess
pay
we'll
a
just have to play.
fistful of dollars for an anniversary pack with all the GBA titles, though. That's for damn.
Oh
sure.
my god, dude. Find a way to incorporate the DS titles without the touchscreen. That would be awesome.
Oh, I'm all.
I mean, the
all you
only
need
one
to
where
do
they
is
really...
take out that stupid seal mechanic for Julius.
Yeah, I was going to say, the only time they even tried to do touchscreen controls was in the first one. Or Dawn of Sorrow, right?
I remember it was very, very limited and very.
All you did was like
Ham
break some
fistedly
blocks,
added.
and yeah, you just broke
Yeah,
some blocks
that's
and you
all
made
it
seals.
was.
Yeah,
Yeah.
it was not difficult. But that was actually one of my favorite Castlevania games, Dawn of Sorrow. Holy Dawn and Aria were two excellent titles.
If I'm not mistaken, who's trying to buy Metal Gear, Silent Hill, and Castlevania from Konami? Someone's making a move for that, if I remember correct.
I think Silent Hill did get scooped up, and I think it was by Capcom.
Capcom sounds familiar.
It was really exciting. I read it like 2 weeks ago, but then didn't get a chance to discuss it with you. But someone is trying to revive Silent Hill, and I couldn't be more excited because I don't think it is Konami.
Well, I heard Hideo Kojima is actually trying to do basically a PT remake with
Yeah.
Norman Reedus and no Silent Hill. So that would be cool.
I'd be down for that, like a new original horror IP. That'd be cool.
I mean, I know I make a joke at Hideo Kojima's expense, and then he just lights another cigar with $100 bill.
Yeah, right. You know, I was gonna say
but-
if there was one place that
But I'd love to
Kojima's
see him do horror.
Yeah, I was gonna say if there's one place where Kojima's style of writing might actually function, it's in horror.
Yeah, I mean, because
everything should be kind of meta and mindfucky.
right. Yeah, I mean that's
Oh
actually
shit!
super insightful way of putting it. Is yeah, it's like the horror that's the
Mindfucky.
worst is the stuff that gets into your head. And yeah, so that would be interesting.
Hey,
It's a first person game with Norman Reedus, so you never actually see him.
right? That would be hilarious. You just get his voice sometimes.
Damn,
But he's
those
not even
ghosts are
doing a
gonna
southern
pay
accent.
for spooking my dogs.
Right.
No, that's just Duke Nukem. But
So, speaking of the word mindfucking and feeling clever, I thought of an interesting thing that we should do for an episode of something else. Have you ever heard of Quiplash?
no, is this a concept or a game?
It's a party game kind of thing, but you're basically given. It's kind of like Mad Libs, but more open ended. So, like, they'll give you a scenario like, oh, shit. What's a good example? The aliens land on Earth, and the first thing they say to you is, "Take me to your blank," and you have to fill in the blank. You know?
Ah, okay, all right. It's like a less offensive version of Cards Against Humanity. Then.
Well, no, it can be as offensive as you make it, because the way it works is everyone writes a quip, you know, like something hopefully kind of clever, and then you vote on the best one.
Oh, so it is exactly like Cards Against Humanity, just without the cards.
Yeah.
It's quips against humanity.
Yeah, pretty much. It's like I said,
It
you're
works.
responsible for the creative parts, not the cards. Okay, I think after this next checkpoint, this might have to be the episode. Still a little pissed
So,
that they made me play as V again, but
So I'm gonna, for all of our Twitch followers out there, I'm gonna open up a straw poll. I don't know if I want to go to work tomorrow, so I'm gonna open up a poll here, and
if
you on Twitch will decide whether or not I go to work tomorrow.
starting now, we're going to do a donation blitz. If we make $100, Nick goes into work. If we make $200, Nick calls in sick. If we make $500, Nick prank calls his boss. And if we make over 1,000, Nick is going to quit and he's going to pee in his boss's gas tank. Like, comment, subscribe, and start those donations. Oh, God.
Gotta pay attention, sweetheart.
Oh boy. Oh, I'll take that. What a bleak week if that's what makes me cry from laughter.
Wouldn't it be hilarious?
Oh,
like all of
man.
a sudden we look over on our PayPal. And, holy shit!
Oh shit, I gotta quit my job.
Nick's gotta quit his job. Oh God, Nick, you have to pee in your boss's gas tank.
Oh boy, now there's already video evidence for the courts.
Right? Nick
Well-
calls up his boss. Listen, I need you to be cool.
I will pay you $2,000 to let me pee in your gas tank. God damn it, now I'm at $1,000.
What is this horseshit? What did he just throw me? What is happening? I like how I said next checkpoint we'd stop, but then they threw another boss at me.
Well,
so.
they kind of forced us into it, but I think this is the end of the chapter, so.
Yeah. Seems legit.
But I cannot summon up the enthusiasm to go into work tomorrow. I really can't. And I took last Friday off, too.
Speaking of
I just-
Fridays, go ahead.
No, I don't even know what I was going to say. Speaking of Fridays,
Well, I was going to say if you do end up going in tomorrow and you have a surprising amount of energy for a Friday night, it's been forever and a day since we've even touched Condemned, and I think we're in like the final chapter. According to me.
well, because last week didn't work out, I was going to try to be available on Friday.
Oh, I got you.
Yeah, forgot to tell you. Well, because now that the weather is nice, I'm noticing all the stuff that needs fixed in the house, and I think like last week I super overdid it with some renovations I was working on. So
Nice. So you did the
anyways,
fence. What else did you end up doing?
I did the fence, and then I pulled out an old partial fence. Is the only way I can describe it. It looked like it used to be a fence at some point, but they're just like these 8-foot pillars that were buried 6 feet underground.
Okay.
So I had to dig those out by hand, and yeah. Also started
shit.
digging out my rows for the privacy hedge too,
Oh, nice.
and then just some miscellaneous repairs and moving stuff around. Like when I first moved in November, I just threw shit in rooms to have
Yeah.
everything inside the house. Now it's like, okay, well the sunroom is full of totes that need moved, so I can use this room.
Well, Nick, we've only got 33 gold orbs. Do you think we can spare it?
We should probably just reset. What if we really need them for the Nameless King?
Wouldn't it be hilarious if that fucker ends up taking 20 goddamn gold orbs?
It's like Bug Fables, where the game suddenly spikes an incomprehensible difficulty at the very end.
Right, that'd be... Well, now I'm a little afraid of Bug Fables, but whatever.
It was funny how horrified of that adorable little game I was at the end. They're like, "Oh yeah, man, you don't want to go here. This is where you like enter the human realm, and there's all these like giant bugs." Like, I'm 10 levels over my the last boss fight. Oh shit, I'm getting my ass handed to me by
Right. Dude, that's one of
Oh
the
my
things
gosh.
about Hollow Knight, man. They freaking, for a game about essentially beetles, they fucking get so atmospheric with that shit.
Oh yeah, yeah. It's I mean, and it's dark
It
but
is.
adorable little game at the same time too.
Like,
I mean,
they have,
essentially
like,
you're
This whole knighthood.
you're in
and-
this. Yeah, I mean, you're in this world that's already fallen apart and has been destroyed, and no one really gives a damn whether you accomplish your goal or not, because everyone's dead.
If I'm understanding the game right, like, you're not even there to save it. You're like the fucking hatchet man. Just going in to clean up.
I mean, hardly even that. I mean, no one even seems to know you're there for the
No.
most part.
You're
or
just there to
care.
fucking murder.
It's bleak. So yeah.
Oh god, what's this? Something tells me we're gonna be using a second gold orb here.
Yeah, so much for that A rank, right?
Oh, we're fine. What is she doing? The fuck is this, Nick?
She's gathering all the sand in the room, and she's gonna.
Oh, she's gonna do that. Well, there's that
Okay.
second gold orb.
Oh, now we're down to 32.
You know what? We've been playing this since January. I'm using my gold orbs.
It's time to end this, damn it.
We're getting through this.
Oh. Let's try and chill just a little bit more. May 16th, Terraria Journey's End gets released.
Oh yeah, you were pretty.
I
pretty
am so
pumped
psyched about that. My siblings
Jesus
and I are going to
Christ.
set up a server online so that we can all take part in like one final
I'm like
run-through.
unable to dodge.
Well, hey, with all those gold orbs, you're unable to die too.
Yep. All right, 3 gold orbs. Let's do it. Wouldn't it be great? Like, there's a maximum number you can use per boss. Like 5
You
gold
now
orbs.
find out.
You're done here.
Oh, what was it?
Jiminy Christmas. Ugh. I like how I'm fuck fuck Jiminy Christmas.
It's that weird moment where you become self-aware and you're like, no, I don't swear.
Gee
consciously."
golly gosh. Jiminy Jilliker's radioactive, man. No need for profanity, Fallout Boy.
Oh god, I swear. I was thinking about this the other day because I was talking with a friend about Rise of Skywalker. I was like, you know what the movie Rise of Skywalker is? It's basically what we ended up getting with the Radioactive Man movie.
Right?
Where they just take a bunch of scenes and like shove them together and then like, well, we ran out of money, so this is the movie.
Yep. It's like we had to get a whole bunch of shit on camera, and we had the budget of so many $1 billion, and this is what came out. You
I mean,
enjoy
at least
it.
the prequels are
Or
fun to
don't. We're
watch
still
with
going to
the
make the money back.
friends, like, you know, to like make fun of how bad they are. Like, man, Rise of Sky. I mean, like the other two movies, I don't even remember what they're called. They were okay films.
You like The Last Jedi, huh? More than Rise of Skywalker? That's interesting. Not in a
Rise of
bad way, like, I'm not
Skywalker. The
surprised.
Rise of Skywalker was just an annoying headache of flashing images and sounds and hey, remember this. The
Yeah,
Last
I can
Jedi was just like inoffensive to me. Like I felt so little about that movie.
Yeah, it did
That
stuff.
like it escapes on that. Like Rise of Skywalker just generated feelings of anger and frustration that I was sitting here watching that.
Did you? You didn't see the Star Wars trilogy for the first time when we were friends, did you?
Which trilogy are we talking about?
The original, the good one.
Oh yeah, the first 3 movies, those are fine. I love those. They're
Yeah,
all
but,
right.
like,
two and a half solid movies.
I did not introduce you to those, correct?
No,
No, I didn't think so, okay.
I watched those on cable over the course of like 10 years as a child.
Okay. Just making sure.
So, no, those
I forget what my point
were,
there was.
I'm out now.
Those were fine movies because they weren't up their ass about trying to make an expanded universe.
Yeah, that's true. Except for the Star Wars Christmas special.
And we didn't have like Maria Shriver doing those huge like Star Wars political rallies once a year.
Right.
I don't know what the hell's up
Have
with
you
that
ever
shit.
seen the Star Wars Christmas special?
No. There are many things a wise man might wish to remain ignorant of.
You know,
Like the Star Wars Christmas special or Two Girls and One Waffle.
Damn it, V.
you know, with the new trilogy, right? It's like so bad it's bad. The Star Wars Christmas special has aged in such a way that it's so bad it's good. You know, not like as in, like there's not anyone who's gonna watch it and think, wow, this is like really good entertainment. But you know, it's like, wow, they had some like goofy like mushroom induced ideas that like could only have worked in 1980. You know, it was just it was a product of its time.
Sometimes sometimes that works. You know, just as like hey, well remember when things like this could actually happen?
So with V here,
So is V gonna die? I
yeah,
mean,
can we
what should I
finally
be
get rid-
feeling here? What emotion should I be feeling? I'm unsure.
I don't know, but probably more than I'm feeling having gotten a D and sacrificing 4 gold orbs. Holy shit. Nick,
I'm sure using continues hammers your score down pretty hard.
next time on Play the Hits, I'm actually going to try to pay attention to the game. That's my
Well,
promise to
you can try, but will we get above a C rank? That's the question.
Like,
Oh
comment,
wait, hey,
subscribe.
look! I gotta check the straw poll. I gotta check the straw poll.
How many
I
dollars
didn't make
did
a
we
straw
get?
poll. Screw it. I'm not going to work.
we're going to give you the prize as though we had gotten $200. We'll see you guys next time right here on Play the Hits. Have a good night, Nick.